Hello and welcome back to Big Trouble in Little Podcast. This is episode 325, the final episode of McConaughey. I'm Andy.
I'm Chaz.
And I'm Dubs, and
Zach just dropped just this second.
He's back.
He was better than the best.
There he is.
But now he's just
he has returned.
Just the best.
That one's Zach.
It's not my fault.
Uh-oh.
Oh, your microphone is coming from your webcam, I think.
All right, well, while he figures that out, like I said, this is the final episode of McConaughey. This week, we are watching Chaz's pick, and it is not a James Bond movie, but it is A Time to Kill. Chaz, why'd you choose this movie? What's your problem?
Oh, what's your problem? So actually, oddly enough, growing up, I remember watching this movie and being sort of traumatized. I was made to watch this movie when I was like 8 or 9.
It's a rough movie.
It is a hard movie to take as a child. I didn't really understand why everyone around me was so upset, but then, there's a lot of stuff I didn't really understand. So,
you were like Hannah.
Yeah, going back and watching this, ouch. Yeah, I haven't watched this since Evie was born. So, I feel like there are so many things that I've went back and watched that you hear the whole it hits different when you're a parent. This definitely hit different because I'm a parent, specifically a girl dad. So yeah, there was a lot of emotional diarrhea on my end. I was real upset watching this movie the whole time, and immediately went and gave my daughter a big hug. So
you're saying that you'd kill him?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess so.
That's what they burn in hell. That's
they burn in hell.
Yeah. Funny enough, I didn't realize that's where that quote was from. I remember hearing it.
That's Zach and I were talking about. Like, I've always wondered. I just assumed it was in some movie I'd never seen, obviously, but like here it is out of nowhere.
If there's any weird silver lining I can say I've taken from the journey of this podcast, it's learning where obscure quotes that I don't know where they come from, because that's got to be at least the 5th or 6th time I've figured out where a quote came from that I had no clue where it was from.
To that end, please subscribe. We're gonna keep discovering together.
Yeah. I'm here for the long haul, so we'll keep finding out. And for those listening, if you want to learn other ones, just keep listening because we're gonna find them. But anyway, I actually chose this movie. This is one of my mom's favorite films. She talked all the time about this movie and loved it, and I never understood really why, but maybe it's one of those things of she likes the powerful charge of what they do for parents. My mom was also someone who often I lived in an area that was inherently fairly racist, but there was actually a large African American population, despite a lot of the racism that was just there. So
it's against something, I guess.
Right, so living, it's another movie I think that stands out to me for that same reason. I can remember a lot of times in my life watching my mom stand even against family members and call them out for being racist. And I know she would always go back to this movie and talk about it too. So I don't know. It's a movie that I always associate McConaughey with, or McConaughey.
I mean, you will now.
Yeah, but the other movie being Interstellar, because it's just arguably still my favorite movie he's in. But that said, going back and watching it, the first thing that struck me watching this movie was, damn, why is everyone so sweaty? But obviously it's Mississippi, and they're really selling the fact that ain't nobody affording AC down in Mississippi. Like everybody's too broke for that shit. Apparently AC is just gold there. So everyone's real hot and sweaty, and they're just dealing with it.
Even the rich people, they were just like sweaty. I'm like, God damn it, you're rich. Don't you have fucking air ventilation?
I mean, they clearly. I'm sure this movie was actually shot mostly on a sound stage in California. So it's obviously a directorial choice. They said, I want everyone to look wet. Get a spray bottle. And before we go action, just get everyone wet. They're going to be wet. It's the South. It sucks.
Yeah.
Like Joel Schumacher was like, I went to the South once and it sucked out loud. So everyone's going to be sweaty the whole time.
What's funny is there are inconsistencies, because not everyone is sweaty all the time, just very specific people. Most notably, Ashley Judd is always soaking wet the whole movie. I don't know why, but specifically her clavicles are just pearly shining. Like if your TV angle is wrong, it'll blind you because she's just always just glistening. But Sandra Bullock is not like that in a lot of the movie.
Yeah, the
She
girl
don't
from
want to get
Speed.
sprayed.
Not sweaty.
She's the one who should be the sweatiest. She's from like New York or something, right?
Yeah.
She should be walking around all the
Not
time being like,
Boston.
how do you guys do this? It's so hot all the time.
She's like the person never complaining about the heat, but should be. Exactly. It's like, oh, other than the inherent racism and all the other horrible things happening here and everyone's backwards views on how life should be, why is it so hot? And then really what she doesn't realize is that's why everyone's views are so backwards, because everyone has actually succumbed to chronic heat stroke. No one's actually thinking correctly. But
like
okay.
like how climate change is today, where we need to like cut back on the fucking airplane shit. Well, maybe in the South they should have cut back from the fucking burning crosses, and maybe people would be better off cooler.
I can think of several reasons they should cut back on those, but yeah, that's one.
Yeah, energy
I was trying to
conservation.
make a joke out of it.
That's the reason. Yeah, the Ku Klux Klan should go away because we just can't afford the electric bill.
That's one of it. Like overall, I did enjoy this movie, sure, but there's a few things in it that I was like distracted by, and one of them is its depiction of the Ku Klux Klan. They have like they like get Kiefer Sutherland and his buddies and like kidnap him and take him to a secret location, and what's his name's gonna put his foot in his ass is there, and he's like, oh, we're gonna induct you and make this new chapter, and people think the Klan's gone, but actually we're secretly behind the scenes doing Klan shit all the time. It's like, no, I don't think so. I think the Klan is like a bunch of people with bad teeth that like go to barbecues once in a while and are stupid. Like, there's no way. This is so ridiculous. I don't know. I felt like that was one of the most outrageous things in the movie.
It is a little contrived because they know, oh yeah, there's a secret organization. We're always still around, and we should start something here. And the moment they do anything there, the leader, so to speak, old Red from that '70s show, he gets burned alive.
I knew it.
Yeah, immediately died. Funny. Yeah, and then
no
one else came up to help them. It was just them, and so then it was just a group of assholes who just wanted to get revenge because their asshole brethren died. Like, so
they're just good old boys, just driving, having fun, back roads. That's what they do. They throw beers at people and rape them.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. That's what quote unquote good old boys do.
I'm laughing how he delivered that. I'm not laughing at the context of throwing fucking beers and rape. Dude, that scene was just fucking terrifying.
That was fucking crazy.
But it also kind of took me out a little bit. Now, I do know there was a lot of, dumb idiots that drive on the road, but they like comically, like, they were like, and like driving erratically along the road. And then like just doing weird shit. But I know they were trying to like picture these guys as fucking assholes.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I did a little research too because I wanted to know a little more about this movie and how it was made. Because the first thing that stuck out to me, aside from what we already talked about, was when it started showing who is in this film at the beginning, who directed it.
Everyone.
My mind was blown a little bit. One, there's a ton of star power in this movie, but that's okay. But the fact that Joel Schumacher is who directed this, and more importantly, he directed it between Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
This was his Batman break.
What?
He was like, I got to do a real movie. Like, please, just let me do a real movie for like 8 months, and I'll
just
want to
take it. Just if you don't mind to indulge me, I'll take you on a little journey back in time. The year is 1996. Joel Schumacher is hot off the heels of his fantastic rendition of Batman Forever. The action flick via just a very large Mattel commercial.
Go listen to our episode about Batman Forever.
Yeah,
that's right.
And unironically, I love that movie for all the wrong reasons. It's so hammy, and that's fine.
We need to reprise that episode. It sounds like.
Yeah, what you're talking. It's one of my favorite bad movies. Like I I would defend that movie to the point that it is an enjoyable bad movie, but Batman and Robin, unfortunately, is not. But what's funny to me is the break in between is that it's such a like left turn from what he's doing between those two movies. It's also kind of a left turn to what movies he's done. Period.
But what if fucking Batman and Robin was a palate cleanser for all the fucking shit he had to like put in that movie?
I mean,
like, goddamn.
I can tell you now, he got paid a lot more to do the Batman films than he did
no
this.
doubt.
It wasn't a palate cleanser for him. It was not an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Retrospect.
So the other thing that's interesting about this movie is how the origin of the story itself, because it does feed a little bit to what you were mentioning about the Ku Klux Klan.
I was annoyed. I think this is the direction you're going. I was annoyed. This is based on John Grisham novel,
Yes.
but the novel has the same stupid name. Why didn't they change the name? Why?
Yeah.
Why would you want them to change the name?
The name it doesn't match the movie at all.
I was expecting somebody to say A Time to Kill at some point. They never did.
I was kind of expecting that. Like
They said
hand me out the.
I'm actually glad they didn't do that, because that would have just been goofy, right? No, I like the name of the movie. Because I mean, it fits what the story is. It's just not the first thing you think of, because there are so many other movies with very similar names that are in just a very different scope. But I mean, again, this is focusing on when is it appropriate to kill someone. Like, so I think it's just a matter of there's other media that exists out there with such a similar name that it's off-putting.
Is this movie pro or anti the death penalty?
Both.
Yeah, it's kind of like my takeaway was it was both.
Okay.
Oh, I took it to be pro death penalty. I take it specifically to be pro death penalty, not pro vigilante necessarily, but again, it was towing that very fine line of when is it okay for you to take action into your own hands, because it's focusing heavy on the themes of racism and the fact that again, at this time, and it's still even now, when a certain crime happens, it is viewed and judged differently depending on who is performing the crime and who the victim is.
Yeah. So wait. So you think this movie is pro death penalty and pro like vigilante justice? Well, you said you stopped just short of that.
Somewhat. I think I don't necessarily think it's for or against it. I think it's rather exposing the fine line of when is that okay and when it's not, because it's kind of like Donald Sutherland. We have him on the screen now. His character says something really interesting in the movie. He says it's a unique case because if you fail to get this man off, then justice is going to be served. But if you manage to save him from the death penalty, justice is also served. Because it's also ethically, like, do you feel like what he did is morally upstanding? And I think it's an interesting premise. I don't necessarily know if it chooses one or the other.
So you think what Samuel L. Jackson did is morally justifiable?
Yeah, I think so. Because if that happened to my daughter, that is exactly what would happen.
Yeah, but a big part of the argument being made in the movie is that when he made it, he wasn't like thinking clearly. He wasn't of sound mind because of what had happened to his daughter. He was, and that's the point they make is you can't think. Imagine it happened to you. Imagine she's white at the end of his speech, and people understand that rush of emotion. But we're not talking about a rush of emotion justifying what has happened. We're talking about morality, whether or not taking a human life under any circumstances is morally, like logically correct.
Sure, but at the same time, there are going to be times that someone could be in a situation where they have to take someone's life. What if they're in the situation of if they don't take someone's life, they lose their own?
Yeah, I mean self-defense, like war, whatever. That's a whole different thing. But
sure.
They're talking about in the eyes of the law, what he did is wrong. How can you justify that? Because later the law, what Samuel L. Jackson's character does is illegal, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then they have to go about, well, under what circumstances could this be forgiven or reasonable or I don't know. I
think the point is that Matthew McConaughey's character builds a defense. He builds an entire defense around him being insane, because that is like the default thing of, oh, the only way you're going to be able to convince a jury to think that he is not guilty is that he wasn't irrational. But he literally abandons that because he realizes that's not going to work anyway. Everyone knows he's of sound mind, and they make that very clear. What they then have to try to prove is the same thing. Do these people feel like what he did is justified given what happened to him?
Well, so I mean, obviously it's justified. I do agree with that. I agree with the end of the movie. But are you saying it's justified because it was first-degree murder, or it was justified because it was second-degree murder?
Ooh, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough because again, it's not like he reacts and does it immediately. Not that he can, like he has to wait.
Right.
But I mean,
like it's calculated, but how much of that is a cool
kind of the rush
logical
of the
mind,
emotion.
and how much of it is seeing red?
Yeah, it's tough to delineate that, and I'll tell you what, I don't ever want to be in the position to have to make that decision. So, I like you said, it's hard to put yourself in those shoes because nobody wants to be in that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know the right answer.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
The movie had me thinking about all this stuff. And
No, that's the point. That's the point of the movie, though, right? That is the exact point.
Dub, Zach, do you have anything on this? I feel like Chaz and I have been like not arguing but debating for a while.
No, I mean both of you guys make good points. Morality, I agree with Chaz. Like if I had a daughter, she got raped, I'd kill the fucking dudes. 0 to 100, that would be me if I had a daughter. But at the same time, he did commit a crime, whether it was morally justified. And I think that's why Matthew McConaughey's character couldn't win based off of law. It was a lose-lose situation. He was going to be put in jail for either manslaughter or some certain degree of murder because there was many witnesses in the courtroom that saw him with a machine gun shoot guys that were in handcuffs. Doesn't look good, but at the same time, Matthew McConaughey had to take his defense into a morality, I guess, like putting everybody in the same shoes of what Nick Fury was.
Okay, so a couple things to add to this. So one extra layer to this that's important, and it is important.
Mm-hmm.
The race part does play into this because it's not just that his daughter was harmed and he's looking to get revenge. It's that the fact that these men could very well walk away free. And it's because, they raped a black girl. If they would have raped a white girl, it'd be different. So
yeah.
That context is there. Like even they're prepping to take these guys in, and everyone's like, business as usual. These scum might walk away. Like that's the whole thing. Is it's not. So then it's like, yes, he's upset, he's grief stricken, but he's also fully aware of it's not just that they committed an action and should pay for it. It's that the justice system is not going to make them pay for it. So then, one, does that make it first degree? Because now it's not just that he's grief stricken. He's actually aware and he's planning out what to do because he's aware that they're not going to face punishment. But then also, does that further say, because the justice system is broken, is it justified that he takes the law in his hands? I'm not saying I know the answer or not. I know what I felt like it's justified based on what he did. Because again, if I were in the same shoes, that's specifically those shoes. That's exactly what I would do. That all said, it doesn't necessarily make it right. One thing that I think it is it's one hang up I have with the movie is that it's not just that he kills two men. He also amputates or leads to another man getting amputated that had nothing to do with it.
But he was Team Nick Fury.
He could be Team Nick Fury. That's fine. Yeah. he literally shot a cop in the leg, and the cop lost his life, and he could have died. So the fact that is also just forgiven is a little, like, I think of maybe it's a more realistic thing. A more realistic thing with this movie would have been that he would have gotten off with murder, but he would have been convicted guilty of attempted murder or some type of assault with a weapon.
In a case of assault where there's no murder, isn't it on the victim to press charges? Because I think only the federal government will prosecute murder on behalf of a dead person, but I think the injured person has to say, I want to go to court because I was injured by this person. I think.
Well,
I don't know fuck all about law, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So it's possible the cop was like, forget it. I'm just not even going to do
the
this.
fact that his stance was he forgave him it's an accident, absolutely, and that could be why that isn't what he was being held on trial for. It didn't even sound like that was what he was on trial for. They never once mentioned that that's part of it. It sounds like he's being held trial for murder, and maybe it's because they're thinking, oh well, we don't need to worry about the other counts because this man's going to be sentenced to death for these things.
Possible,
like it's such a sure thing.
There's bigger things, yeah.
Exactly. So it's possible that, and that's just a nuance, but it does feel like more in the reality things he would have been held to that.
I mean, honestly, in the real world, like the end of this movie is nice and everything, but in the real world, he still would have been charged and probably jailed, or maybe he would have had time served. I don't know how long the movie takes, but he still would have had assault charges and bringing a weapon onto state property and
that's what I was
illegal possession of an automatic weapon and like all this other shit.
That other stuff
broke. Yeah,
that other stuff never came up about him attempting murder on fucking government property.
I kept being like, where did he get an automatic rifle? And why does later on he's like worried about getting money for his family, and I was like, how'd you get that rifle? Did you buy it? Because if so, it wasn't cheap. I guarantee it.
They said he was in the war. They never clarified what that war is.
They don't let you bring that shit home, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting a machine gun, by the way. I was expecting like an I don't know, bolt action or something, or a handgun.
Well, yeah, but then you don't get the ricochet, and you don't get it's not as dramatic. And,
true, yeah.
Judging from like the gun and his age, is Vietnam. The only thing that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean that's the gun's right for that, but
yeah.
And yet, Chaz, like I see what they were doing as far as like the justice system being like unfair, because I totally agree. This was like a lose-lose situation for him if Matthew, because remember the talk that him and Matthew McConaughey's character, he's like, the reason I chose you is not because I'm your friend, is because you're the enemy, and because
you're one of them.
Yeah, and he's like, you're my secret weapon, and essentially that's what Matthew McConaughey did. I like how he led him along too. He's like, everybody close your eyes, and you could definitely tell the two racists that closed their eyes last, because they were all gonna fucking. They wanted to go quickly. They're like, I need to go home. Let's talk about this at dinner when they're not supposed to, and they were looking to do that. But I love how Matthew McConaughey's character has him walk and then hits him with that white line at the end, and it's just like, you motherfuckers would have done the same. And that's the only, in my opinion, Hail Mary. Because what I was expecting when the doors opened was it's a hung jury. Like, they couldn't fucking, get a verdict because of those two, racists, and then probably half of the jury just falling off because of what Matthew McConaughey did.
Yeah, but then you don't get a big, triumphant, exciting ending. Like,
yeah.
I don't think this movie was ever going to have a bad ending. And I don't know, there's parts of it that are, I feel like this movie's pulling some punches. I feel like this is too Hollywood.
I wondered if the book was different, actually.
Yeah,
I looked it up. It's not.
It's not as the same.
Really?
Okay, I feel like they had this script because they had this John Grisham novel when it came out in the '80s, and so they know it's popular because John Grisham's a popular author.
I want to point out, it's not just that it's popular. This is his very first novel.
His first book, yeah. But
yeah, this is a big deal.
I feel like they had the script and they were shopping around, and I don't know if Schumacher picked it up or if they had it and they came to Schumacher with it. But I think then they were like, "Look, we have this nice race story." And that's popular, and it's Oscar bait, and that's how they got all these names, because they went to Donald Sutherland and Sandra Bullock and whoever else, and was like, "Hey, we're making this movie. Here's the rundown of it." And they'd either heard of the book or they were like, "Oh yeah, I want to be in an Oscar bait race courtroom drama movie. That sounds great." And I feel that influence in this movie because there's a lot of stuff the ending is so stupid. Because they're like, oh, our daughters don't play together. And at the end, their daughters are meeting. And there's no subtlety to that at all. And I hate that. Because they basically turn to the screen and they say, our daughters aren't friends. And at the end, they say, but now they're friends. Look, they're getting along. Look, it's a happy ending for white and blacks alike. Like, it's I don't know.
It's funny because they had their sort of at the end of the courtroom deal. where it's like you could tell they weren't really cool with each other after it was over, you know?
Right.
They looked
They
at each
said
other.
I'm one of the bad guys.
Yeah,
right?
and McConaughey was just looking at him like, fucking whatever, dude. I'm a bad guy, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, like it would have been, I don't know, film wise, it would have been more interesting if there had been animosity between them and it hadn't fully been resolved. But at the end, it's just like a big sappy Hollywood. He brings his family over and they brought Peach Cobbler.
Yeah. See, I don't know, though. I don't necessarily think that it's McConaughey being upset with him, more the fact that he's just upset that he's right. Samuel Jackson's character is 100% right. He's trying to, like, you know what? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. It's like, just because I was raised to think in a different way and look at it from a different perspective doesn't mean I have to be that way, right? Because it's not that he's trying to inherently be racist, but we have subconscious bias. We live with it every day. All of us do, because it's the way, it's what we're taught. So what you can do is try to be aware of it and fight it. And not that I think that the ending is good, because I agree. I think the ending's a little cheesy. It could have been just as fine for him to pull up. There's so many ways for them to do it without them just laying it on so thick to say, oh, I thought they could play together. Like, they didn't have to do all that. They could have found another way to do it that was a little more subtle to, someone, with their own
That's what
mind.
I wanted a little more like film craft or something. I don't.
Yeah,
it's just like at the end of the day, I do like this movie. It sounds like I'm coming down on this movie really hard, and I'm not. But it really is very Hollywood. It really is very. There's going to be a happy ending at the end of this movie regarding black-white relations. Definitely. Like from the word go, I was like, I feel how this movie's going to end, and that's fine. I still had a nice time watching it. There's a lot of good acting in it. It's an interesting story, but ultimately, I feel like there was a better movie in here somewhere, and they kind of wussed out and just made a nice feel-good movie instead.
I mean, I think with how much they let the renegade people that are related to Billy Ray Cobb. What, by the way, what a good like redneck name.
What a good redneck name. Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, oh yeah, the guy's definitely a redneck.
That's pretty good. The guy definitely has a mullet. I don't even have to see a picture. I know it. But like, they let those guys just run wild the whole time, right? And they're doing all this shit, and no one's getting caught out for it. And of course, they have a cop on the inside, and all of a sudden, at the very end, they just know right before to stop him. Like, a whole different ending to this movie and story in general could be that he manages to prevail and convince everyone to let him go, and then McConaughey or Samuel Jackson, either one, gets shot by the other guy out of revenge, and it just ended up still being a tragedy. All right, like, maybe people would have hated that. General audiences would have fucking hated that. Yeah. I don't want to say I would have hated it. I'd have been real upset.
If they did it right. Like, I'm not even saying, like, my point about the ending isn't that, there should have been a bad ending. Like, I like noirs and everything, but
sure,
a happy ending is fine. It's justified in this case, but I want more of, like, either a melodramatic ending or maybe more of, like, a melancholy ending.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean...
Zach's right, though. I mean, that was not in vogue at the time at all.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, too, is... And I feel bad for the little girl. Like, the whole thing is, this movie is driven by a little girl minding her own business, going to get groceries, and getting beaten and raped and left for dead, basically, right? And immediately, she is also plucked, like, as far as her character is just plucked out as soon as that happens, and you realize she's just a plot device. So, that also sucks a little bit, because then... that could have also led to a melancholy thing, because, great, you know what? Justice prevailed in this way at the very end. Everything's there. But, in the story, he still is driving home, and that's what he uses to drive home. This, even though she lived, she's still not going to be able to have kids, other stuff. They could have still driven that home. Instead of, you could have had, if she's crippled or something at the end, you could have had it so that, okay, well, she's beaten up, and, like, her life's never going to be the same. Like, again, not to say you have to have that, right? And it's not to make it a better movie, but I do kind of agree with you, I guess, is where I'm getting at, is they laid it on a little thick and cheesy at the very end, when there were other ways to do it subtly that still allow it to have a happy ending without making it, like, just so obvious, right?
I think it's kind of like Zach alluded to, it's that 90s thing where they were, like, spoon feeding everything to the audience. It's just like that's the way 90s movies are. Like,
what is it? They do this a bit in Family Guy, where Family Guy, a couple episodes, they do the thing where Peter learns a lesson and they play the oboe and it goes burr burr burr. It reminds me of that, well, just a little bit.
Yeah, like that. That's the scene there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole like Venom Snake getting caught by the sheriff right after the fucking the judge, or the jury coming out saying he's not guilty.
it was about time, honestly. Like at that point, like he's walking around about to do some sneaky shit. I'm like, how does he keep getting away with it? There's like dozens of guardsmen all over the place and cops, and he's just like shooting people with rifles on rooftops, whatever, doesn't get caught. No way.
There is a reason that he gets caught this time. They just don't allude to it as much. Sandra Bullock's character being found right away.
Yeah, she solve him. Yeah.
Yeah, she knew who he was because she even directly said, he should have shot you too. But that's kind of what led to them finally getting, found out. But and thankfully, there's one person that was just like, you know what, this shit's been taken a little too far, guys. Cletus just realized, he's like,
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse, that's right.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse, that's right. Shit ain't for me, man. Listen, I don't know what they're doing.
The swerve, I thought it was a subtle swerve that they revealed who that guy was.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
They frame it like you expect it to be the cop. At least that's the feeling I got from it. It wasn't. It was the gravedigger guy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, that guy, I don't remember the actor that played him, but doesn't he just play a crooked asshole in every movie he plays?
The gravedigger dude?
No, the cop.
Oh, yeah, he kind of has that face, unfortunately.
He does, but I swear, I remember seeing him. I was going to pull it up and try to find him. I don't remember his name. I'll find it later.
I don't remember his character's name.
Yeah.
My favorite character in this movie was Harry Rex, played by Jimmy King there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is Oliver Platt? I don't know who that is, but I was like, this guy rules. Like, not only is the character written really fun, but he plays it really fun. Like the movie's so like dry and serious, and then he'll say something, and I'm like, I'm refreshed. I'm ready to watch the rest of this movie now.
They were just like, what if Elvis didn't die and became an attorney? That's basically what he is. He's just fat Elvis the attorney. No, I love his character. Like, whenever Sandra Bullock's character is like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm thinking about what all these great attorneys can do. He's like, well, you just got to think of what Harry Rex Vonner would do. And it's like, what would he do? I cheat like crazy. Just laughs so hard. But yeah, his character's great. I like him in so many movies. He's such an underrated actor because he is in a lot of just shit, but he owns all of it.
I barely recognized him, but yeah, I'm gonna be looking for him now.
Ready to Rumble. He was in it.
Yeah, that's why he's Jimmy King and Ready to Rumble. That's what he's talking about.
Aha, okay. All right.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Sandra Bullock, the chick from Speed? What do you think of her character? Like, at times, I was just like, is her point just being like, I guess I'm a homewrecker. I'm fucking smart as shit, and I might cost us the fucking case, because she like breaks and enters into an office and stuff. And I just kept on thinking, is she gonna get caught, and is it gonna fuck up this guy's case?
No, I think that this is what I think about her character. I think that this movie was already too long for her character's full arc to be displayed in film, because there's not enough for you to really understand why she's driven, or maybe like just enough for it to make sense, but she doesn't get enough screen time for it to be fully fleshed out as to why she might be there.
But it was too late. She'd already signed up for the feel-good race Hollywood movie, so
right. So she's there, and that's that.
It's like she kind of has daddy issues, but you never find out that much about it. And then she kind of has like I'm a woman law person issues, but then they don't develop that either. And then it's just she's just like a spunky. I don't know. She's hot and she's spunky and she's smart, and that's her character, and that's all they do.
She's single female lawyer from Futurama.
That's right.
She's like a gender bender of My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
yeah, I guess sort of.
That was like the character I felt was like lacking the most. Really, was her. All her
Yeah.
scenes with her, like up to about when you're in the third act, is like weird, and everything like feels off.
And
That's
it's real
what makes-
shame too, because there felt like potential, like kind of what Chaz was getting at. Like if they had more room for that character, like if the movie was just about Matthew
they
McConaughey
fucking-
working on a case and like maybe cheating on his wife, then that could be a whole movie. But it's
Yeah.
not. They do it for like a scene and a half, and it's like,
Oh, there's
at
more
some point
time.
they're like, your marriage is falling apart. And I was like, oh, is it? I barely remember that.
I
What's going
mean,
on?
this movie's almost 2.5 hours.
Two and a
And
It is 2.5 hours. It's 2 hours
Yeah.
and 36 minutes.
oh, okay, so over 2.5 hours. Sorry.
Yeah.
But like you can't like again, it goes on any further, it's dragging just a little too much, right? But you can definitely feel that it feels like something skipped in between a couple of the times that they meet, because there's all this resistance and him realizing, and like she's laying it on thick, but I think she is just someone that is just really pushing to be a part of this, for a couple reasons. Maybe she's motivated for the wrong reasons at first, but then
They're
she,
personal.
yeah, she's got a chip on her shoulder because her dad's one of the most famous attorneys in the country, and she doesn't need money. She's doing this so that she can get out of her father's shadow, right? So she's motivated for that reason. But then it becomes more than that because she becomes personally attached. And you don't get enough between their characters other than the fact that they're both just gorgeous. Like, right? Like, that's the only thing you get is like, oh, well, we're both attractive and we're both heavily involved in this. But that's not a reason enough for me to cheat on my wife. But there's a lot more that's going on there. And if you had the time for that to play out, like I would imagine reading in the book, there's probably a lot more nuance to why their relationship kind of folds out the way it does. And then to the point that maybe he is about to lose his wife. Like that's almost too convenient in some of the parts of the movie where she's just like, oh, well, I just don't understand why you do that. And then she just suddenly comes back at the end and it's like, oh, I just thought you were doing this for yourself, but I realize it's because you're blaming you. And you're really doing this because if this happened to our daughter, you'd do the same thing. And
Dude,
and that's great that you reach that point, but it's just there's a big gap in between. Well, why was it really like that, right?
It's also stupid and useless and adds almost nothing.
Dude, the way she like came in that room, I was like, is fucking Matthew McConaughey drunk, seeing her somehow, or like hallucinating? Because it was like
it is weird. It's bizarre the way it's shot. I was like, this is a dream, and then it wasn't a dream. So whatever.
And the way she delivered that line where she's like, I know why you took this case, and I thought she was gonna be like, you've been fucking that bitch or something like that. But she like said no, like the daughter situation. It's just the way she delivered it. It was like she's like, I know what you're doing. It's kind of like, and all that stuff. Like she's been spying on him, but then she's like, no, it's about the daughter. I'm like,
if you take the collection of the scenes involving his wife and involving Sandra Bullock, it's like a math problem where they get to the answer, but they don't provide their work. So then the answer doesn't mean a lot. I think that's my only gripe with it is you need a little more to make it. Like I get what they were trying to do at the end.
It's like string theory.
But you're having to fill in a lot of gaps.
Doesn't help that every scene Ashley Judd's in sounds like it was dubbed. It was so weird.
I'd like to fill in her gaps. Sorry, someone had to do it.
There you go. Yeah. No, it's like the sound balancing for like all her dialogue was just like too good. It's like
I'd let her kill me.
So how old was Sandra Bullock in this? 60 or something? No, I'm kidding.
I was confused by it because she's obviously supposed to be in college, but she's like working on her. She's in law school, so 20 something.
She's supposed to be in her 20s, but she's 32 when this movie was made.
Yeah,
I just looked it up. So, I mean, she doesn't look. She looks like she's in her late 20s.
She doesn't look bad. I thought she looked pretty good, honestly.
She looks really good. She looks a little old for what role she's supposed to be playing.
Like the movie kind of tricks me into liking her, and that's why I was so annoyed they didn't do anything with her character. Because she turns up, I like her as an actress anyway. She's attractive in this movie. She's driving a cool car. I was like, oh, cool, this character will be fun. And then that character does nothing.
I like her in Ocean's 11.
Yeah, check this out. This is really funny because I just had to know. Matthew McConaughey is actually 5 years younger than Sandra Bullock. So they were trying,
really?
So they were trying to push off that Sandra Bullock was in law school and that he was already an attorney. Again, he had to learn from someone, so he'd already been through law school. He had to at least have done some type of apprenticeship or something.
He'd been practicing for a while too.
Yeah, he had to have been practicing for a few years. So based on that, there should be like an 8 or 9 year gap between the two of them. 7 at most, or at least. And she's 5 years older than him in real life. So that's really funny that there's that much of an age gap.
Oh, this scene like kind of brought me out of it a little bit. Is like when that one Ku Klux Klan member comes to like fucking bomb Matthew McConaughey's house, and it's like a stick of dynamite and a timer, and he throws it up into the sky.
It's a ticking clock time bomb.
That was straight
that
up
right
Joel
out of one of
Schumacher.
his Batman movies? Come on.
That's exactly what I thought.
You know, I wondered about that. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it's written in the John Grisham novel, though.
I've
That's
never
silly.
read it. I mean,
It's
silly.
like it's a really shitty. To be fair, not to
It's his first
defend it,
book.
but if you told me hillbillies in Mississippi made a bomb, that's about what I'd expect.
yeah, I mean, it seems on point.
It's as acme as it could get. Dynamite sticks attached to an alarm clock. I mean, that's
I guess.
what.
I would expect a manure truck a la Oklahoma City bombing, but whatever.
Oh, sure. I don't think they're that classy. Oh,
yeah,
man.
but yeah, this movie is like it takes a tough situation, but like there are times where it like takes me out of it because of all the like goofiness. Especially like I agree with the ending and stuff. Like automatically, Venom Snake is fucking arrested, and the whole barbecue, scene. The one thing I thought about it is every time Zach says, he was invited to the barbecue.
He's invited to the cookout. He came.
Yeah.
He was allowed.
Okay, that would have made it so much better if he showed up and he's like, "Can I use the N word now?" All right.
Do I get an N-word pass?
Do I get the N-word pass?
He's probably got one in real life. It's fine.
I mean, I will say, the emotional swell at the end, I still can't hate on it too much, but as far as like looking at wanting cinematic perfection, it could have been done differently. Again, the premise of this movie is just still really good, though. It's a great movie.
It's pretty good. I mean, I'll bet you the
heavy
book's
movie.
good too.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, it's how Grisham started his career. It's wild. I was reading back in his wiki about it, though. He actually had already been practicing law for a decade, and at the time of writing this book, was serving as a U.S. representative for the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
Huh.
Yeah, he was literally in the state Congress at the time that he wrote this book. He actually gave up law and just started writing full time and was an elected member of their state Congress.
Huh, what an interesting guy, probably.
Yeah, so, I definitely interesting. A couple of his books are something too. There's a couple that are really good. But I've never read this one specifically. I'd like to.
He apparently wrote 2 sequels to this book too, but they were like way later.
I guess they're just about the same character.
Yeah, it's about the character McConaughey plays. Yeah.
Would Venom Snake come out of jail? And he's gonna kill him.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys kept saying Venom Snake, and I was trying to think they didn't call him that once in the movie, and then I realized what you're. Well, at one point, one of them says something.
Punched snake.
One of them makes some comment about a snake within the reference of the Ku Klux Klan. So that's what I was start thinking. Like, wait, that's not what they called him.
It's like he keeps
we're Metal Gear dorks.
He keeps referring to everybody in this movie in like a role they played that they're least known for. It's like that's what it is. It's like, you remember Sandra Bullock from Speed? It's like, who still remembers her from Speed?
Dude, you know how many times I watched?
Yeah, that was confusing to me too.
You know how many times I watched the movie Speed? I know that movie. So
what's crazy too is you have Kiefer Sutherland and Donald Sutherland in this movie, and they are diametrically opposed, and they don't interact at all. They don't interact at all, and they're on complete opposite sides in the film in terms of the issue.
It's funny.
It is pretty funny.
Oh, and we did gloss over the fact that Kevin Spacey's in this, and that he reveals a guy's statutory rape in it. That's hilarious.
Just another. I mean, that is funny. I rolled when that came up. And just laughed about it. But can we talk about how Kevin Spacey, his whole situation is just one of the biggest disappointments in Hollywood? Because think about all the great
we can't
things.
talk about it because it'll take another half hour. We're not going to.
Yeah, we can't. You're right. You're right.
But
that is outside the purview of this particular podcast.
Yeah. What What a disappointment.
Let's wrap it
Oh,
up. The movie's good. The story's good. It's a little too sugary. It's a little too Hollywoody. I'm glad the dog didn't die. That's it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Recommend.
Fucking
Yep,
the dog put over the fucking bigger tragedy in this movie, which was the little girl. Because if the dog would have died, everybody would have fucking hated the two guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I recommend it.
Yep, I highly recommend it. I liked it. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I recommend it.
Every week with this guy.
Why?
It's fine.
You know, these movies just jump out at me like, oh, goddamn, that's an amazing movie.
All right.
Entertain. You're on a podcast. Lie.
Are we ready? Yeah, exactly. Make shit up. I don't know.
I don't want to lie about my position.
All right. Well, there you go. It sounds like a recommendation from everyone, but now we have to discuss the ranking of McConaughey. We got 4 movies in total, and we just score them with points now, so we don't take up all of your time with this anymore. I'll go first. I'm already speaking. Why not? I put Contact at last. I gave it a point. I like Contact as a movie, but Matthew McConaughey's barely in it, and that's what edged it out for me. I was like, well, we're ranking McConaughey, so I guess I'll put it at the bottom. Fuck it. I put The Gentleman at 2. Pretty cool movie. It's not Snatch. That was my problem with it, I guess. I put A Time to Kill at 2. I gave it 5 points. Pretty good. I just talked about all the reasons I don't think it's perfect. I put Mud at number 1 with 7 points. I really liked that movie. I think it's the setting and the tone that gets me. I just really like movies that don't take place in goddamn New York. Like they have an interesting setting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go next? Zach, you go next. I was gonna say Chaz, but he was taking a drink, so I can't do it.
My bad.
Okay. I put Contact at 4th with 1 point for the same reason Andy says, pretty much. It's just not really a Matthew McConaughey movie. Good movie, though.
Yeah.
2, I have The Gentleman there, or at 3rd, I guess. Gentleman is got 2 points. Mostly I like it, but mostly for the same reasons. Is like, he's in it more. It's not really a Matthew McConaughey movie. In my defense, I didn't know that. That's how it was going to be when I.
How could no one had seen it before? None of us had seen it before, rather. So how could you know?
It's all about him. He's like in the center of the poster. He's top billing. He's not the main character, though.
Zach, how many points did you give for The Gentleman again?
1 point, or Gentleman's got 2. Contact has 1.
Okay, I'm just.
I gave A Time to Kill 2nd at 5 points because it is a Matthew McConaughey movie. I gave it so many points because it actually did it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's pretty good. But I gave Mud 7 points at 1 because
for the first time ever, not only do our rankings match, our scores match.
Yeah. It is also a Matthew McConaughey movie, but it was also the best one.
Yes, I agree. Clearly, I agree.
I guess I'll go next.
Yeah.
It's so funny listening to you guys. You were just like, I chose Contact to be number 4 because it's less Matthew McConaughey in McConaughey, and I'm just like, fuck. I totally did it different. I did it based off my emotions.
That's fine. Right there, however you want. Who cares?
Yeah,
you can do it by mouthfeel. That's okay.
Yeah, you can do it by which one had the coolest song over the credits. I don't care.
So at number 4, I put The Gentleman at 2 points because I did like it. But I'm not big into comedy, but I still did like it.
Into what? Comedy? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's kind of has a comedy based off of its dialogue.
I guess, sort of. Yeah, I guess.
It's comedy in the way a Tarantino movie's a comedy, I think. I don't call those movies a comedy either.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he said comedy, and I thought like Airplane. I was like, what are you talking about? Did we watch the same movie?
I agree. I laughed a lot, but not because it was supposed to be funny.
After I thought about it, I was like, no, he's right. He's right.
Mm-hmm. At number 3, I chose Mud. Like I said, in the last episodes that I said Mud is more, I liked it more than The Gentleman, just because how it deals with like love and loss and all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool on how it was written. At number 2, I have Contact with 4 points because it's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. And I just think the movie's great. It's a little dated though with the CGI stuff in the background.
But it has superior mouthfeel compared to the previous two.
Yeah. And at number 1, A Time to Kill, because even though there were some cheesy moments, I think it's still a good story and it gets the message out, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll go next. I have Contact at number 4 with 1 point because it wasn't even so much that it was the McConaughey thing. Like the movie's still good too. I liked it. It just didn't have McConaughey in it a lot. So I got weighted a little. Yeah, the movie's dumb. Movie just sucks, and I hate everything about it. And most of all, I hate the people that like it. Yeah. Nothing.
For the record, from my personal ratings I give to all movies, it was the second best movie I watched out of all these.
Sure. So I think that's the thing that's funny about this ranking is we're ranking these 4 movies within that bubble, but they're all good. I enjoyed every one of the movies we watched. I don't think anything sucked.
Yeah, I could see watching all of these again at some point.
Absolutely. I think these are all rewatchable. Yeah. But yeah, I gave Contact 1, and I did favor because Matthew McConaughey's basically in it for all of 10 minutes in a 2+ hour movie. But Mud number 2, I liked Mud, but I don't know. It was something about it. It was good. I just didn't enjoy it as much as the other 2 movies.
It was too rural. It brought back too many memories.
Maybe that's what it was. I just Neckbone and I was like, oh shit, it's my cousin. Can't. But The Gentleman, I don't know. I really liked that movie. I think it was just maybe it was not what I expected, and that's what got me. It was just an injection of entertainment that I really enjoyed a lot. I mean, I liked it so much I watched it twice in the same week. Yeah. I thought the movie was really good. I will say it's not without its flaws, but and maybe I need to watch Snatchers or Snatch is what it is, right? Snatchers.
You also need to play Snatcher.
Snatchers is a different, yeah. It's a whole different movie, yeah. And then of course I had A Time to Kill at 8. I really love this movie. Even with some of its cheesiness, like it kind of has to have a good ending for how heavy it is. There was a lot of emotional diarrhea on my end. I like a good movie that makes me cry. I did a lot of crying yesterday, so yeah. I have it at 8 points. So I went ahead and did the rankings based on what the final points were. If you guys want me to finish those off, I didn't put the final total tallies, but they all kind of laid out the right way. But our final ranking, we have Contact at number 4, we have The Gentleman at number 3, we have Mud at number 2, and we have A Time to Kill at number 1.
And that ends McConaughey.
That is McConaughey.
Thank God.
Y'all don't want to watch We Are Marshall?
Yeah.
Or Dazed and Confused?
I still kind of want to watch U571, honestly.
Or U571? Or Tropic Thunder? Or Season 1 of True Crime?
I mean, he's in Tropic Thunder. I mean, he's in it about as much as he gets a Contact, I guess.
McConaughey 2 is We Are Marshall, Dazed and Confused, fucking what other lame ass movie? What rom-com and Sahara? Yeah, there it is.
Oh, a rom-com and Sahara. What's that? Wasn't he in The Wedding Planner?
Nice, guys. McConaughey is over. That's enough of that shit. We're not talking about that anymore. We're going to start talking about Too Big to Fail. Next month is a theme that I've actually really been looking forward to for months. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Me too, actually.
Movies that were touted to be the next big thing, and studios sunk millions of dollars in them, and then they came out, and guess what? They suck on ice. I'm really excited about the first movie we're going to watch. And honestly, a lot of people are going to hear it and go, oh, what's it called now? But trust me, this movie's I wouldn't call it wild. It's actually pretty subdued. But Zach, what did you choose for the first week of Too Big to Fail?
Oh, I chose Heaven's Gate, which is arguably one of the most infamous box office bombs, big failures.
It was the original, most expensive movie ever made that flopped. It was Waterworld before Waterworld was.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this because this is the only movie on the list I haven't watched.
Now,
I'm
very important.
watch it.
There's 2 cuts of this movie. The
Okay.
theatrical cut, which sunk it, and the I don't know if it's called the director's cut, but the actual cut that's supposed to be pretty good. I watched it a long time ago, and I think I remember liking it, but it took me a couple sit downs to watch it because it's 4 hours long. So
Okay.
Ooh.
I'll leave
All
it
right.
up to you guys what you end up watching.
Okay. Well, this is something worth talking about, I think, because not to make the episode go longer, but I think this is worth us talking about, because are we watching these movies simply for the fact that they were supposed to be too big to fail and they did, or are we watching these with the off chance that did these movies just not get the, like, what caused them to fail, and then
I
are they
think some of them
redeemable?
are better than history remembers them to be. I don't think my pick is, but I think some of your picks are.
No, I agree, and that's why I think, like, what angle are we taking? Because if it's not on here, obviously. Not that I'm pushing for it to be here, but a movie that you could consider in this would be Justice League, right? Not that I want to visit that, but like it kind of fits with the thing with Heaven's Gate. Is okay. Well, Justice League suck, or did the Snyder Cut suck? And it's like the same thing.
That's kind of different. I don't know. I say just do whatever you want. I think even the theatrical cut's like 2.5 hours. Like you're in for a sit down no matter what happens.
It's pretty long anyway.
Have any of you seen this movie except me? No,
I haven't yet. No.
Nope.
It has a lot of problems. Be ready. Honestly, it's the best way to describe this movie is a beautifully shot Western where nothing happens.
Okay.
And it's not even truly a Western. You'll see.
I think watching the theatrical cut makes the most sense.
That's fine. Do it.
I want to see what everyone else saw when this flopped to really know. Okay, did it deserve to flop at face value? And then maybe from there, if I really feel compelled enough, I can go back and
Honestly,
watch the director's cut.
Won't swear to it, but I think the 4-hour cut is only. I think it might be like a Criterion exclusive because I remember it was a big deal when it came out. But I don't know if you can now rent it or if it's. You have Criterion Channel now anyway. I'm pretty sure it's on there.
I do. So yeah, I'm deep.
But yeah, watch the theatrical cut. Whatever. I think I'm probably. I don't know. I'm flip flopping. I'm probably gonna watch the 4-hour one though.
I'm looking it up right now, and it says like the default runtime for this is 3 hours and 36 minutes.
Default. Okay, well maybe that's just all there is now.
Okay, well we'll figure it out. Either way, watch Heaven's Gate, and be ready for us to talk about it next week and have lots of positive things to say about it.
Hopefully, we'll still want to talk about it after sitting through almost 4 hours of it. 4 hours of Christopher Walken being a weird Western guy.
I didn't know he was in that movie.
I think so. I hope I'm not misremembering. I'm pretty sure one of my favorite scenes is where, is it him or the other guy? One of them talks about how he's really proud of his new wallpaper, and it's literally just newspapers.
He is in it. Christopher Walken's in it.
Yeah, I knew he was in it, but I can't remember if he's the guy in that scene that I'm thinking of or not.
But
no, he's definitely in it. He's a big part of it, actually.
Brad Dourif. Yeah. Jeff Bridges.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other guy. I was trying to keep it a surprise.
Yeah. Oh, man, this movie has so many people in it. How did it fail?
It was the most expensive movie ever made, and a lot of that money went toward the actors.
That's fair. I can see that.
Yeah. Like as you scroll, you'll understand that. Yeah. Also, the director was a pretty big deal at the time, but we'll discuss that next week. We don't need to do it right now. Now, we're going to talk about what everyone's been watching, doing, playing, seeing, being, loving. Zach, you go first. Again, why not?
Okay. Watched some more Big O. I'm almost done with season 1. I think I've got like 2 episodes left. Still enjoying it pretty well so far. I've watched a few more classic Star Treks just when I'm like eating a meal or something. Because you don't have to like totally focus on old Star Trek.
I've kind of been doing that with Voyager some, but
yeah,
it usually draws me in.
And when some stuff really goes down, like I'll start paying attention more. Like I watched one episode where it's like they had like a bunch of alien ambassadors aboard the ship, and then like they were trying to like discuss some kind of like I think it was mining rights or something, mineral rights for some planet or whatever.
How George Lucas.
And then like one of the ambassadors got murdered. And it also had Spock's parents were on board for that episode too, and his dad was like one of the ambassadors. He was the Vulcan ambassador, and he got accused of the murder. And then he had a heart attack because of stress, I guess. I don't know. that one was more interesting than the second one I watched, which was it was another like planetary mineral or resource rights thing, and it was like a planet full of like people that just value strength, I guess, sort of like Klingons, but they weren't Klingons, but Klingons were there to try to like get in their ear. And there was a big misunderstanding on the planet, and then they all got into a scuffle, and then the leader died. He got usurped by another guy who sided more with the Klingons, and it was, a whole thing. It was okay. I prefer the one with Spock's dad having a heart attack. Watched a little bit more wrestling bios videos. Trying to remember what ones I watched now.
Did you watch Starcade 95 after we reviewed it?
No, I didn't do that yet. I need to still, just to see what he says about it, because I'm just curious. But yeah, not much to say there. Oh yeah, one of them I watched was like about Bret Hart's like last year in WCW, basically like before he had to retire. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so depressing. I'm not looking forward to that. I officially have to watch that. Been watching some ECW lately to finish out the 1995 year, make sure I don't forget anything. I'm glad I decided to do that because I've seen some things that are actually like, that was actually good. That was cool. And I've seen Conan now in his prime. Like, do you remember Conan that much from like WCW and stuff?
Vaguely, because he was like in and out of like wrestling, and then he'll be like commentating a lot.
I mean, he was more or less just a lackey in the NWO. He just didn't do a lot.
Conan in ECW in 1995 is jacked as fuck. He's massive. He's like 250 some pounds, and he's like fucking built. And he can also do like this Lucia shit. It's insane. Like, I don't remember Conan ever looking like that or working like that. It was crazy. It was pretty cool though. I also got to see La Parka, and that was funny because he does his La Parka shit, the
La Parka dance and then the cheer through.
They had a match. He was doing the dance, but the funny thing was they were having a tag match. It was him and Ray and Conan versus La Parka and Psychosis. And when La Parka would wrestle Ray, they were doing these hilarious spots that were almost like it was almost like slapstick comedy shit, where it's like La Parka would try to hit Ray and he'd miss, and then Ray would like kick his shin and run away, and he'd keep like throwing him in the corner and running out of the corner, and he'd have to like look for him, throw him back in the corner. But the funny thing is he picked him up like a child, because Ray is a child compared to him. He's like 5'6" and he weighs like 130 fucking pounds or something.
Yeah.
Put him on the turnbuckle and like patted him on the head and like pinched his cheeks, and then he turned around and did the little La Parka dance. That shit was so funny.
See, that's why La Parka is part of the reason I like Penta so much. Penta makes me think of a modern day version of La Parka.
He kind of does, yeah.
Because he does a lot of the same mannerisms. He does his own version of a dance, and he does the no fear thing that fucks with people. He's got his own things that he's doing that's modern day lucha flippy doodah bullshit, but he has La Parka vibes. I always like that.
Yeah,
Parka was always great.
After seeing La Parka again, I'm like, man, fucking Penta is kind of like La Parka a little bit. Now they have a new La Parka. I don't know if he's any good, if he's like the old one or not, but yeah. I watched Backlash too, which was the WWE pay-per-view thing from this last weekend. It was pretty good. There was 2 really good matches, and then there was 2 good matches, and then there was a match that was decent. But it was more for like the entertainment value of watching Randy Orton and John Cena try to beat each other. And the ridiculous amount of finishers they would do to each other, they couldn't beat each other with their finishers.
And R-Truth had to keep him from winning.
Yeah, now R-Truth's going to have like a match with John Cena, I guess, probably.
So, did you watch Raw last night?
I did.
Okay, so is that actually going to be a thing? I saw that social media was circulating a match graphic between John Cena and R-Truth for a Saturday night event for the championship, and I was like, "There's no way this is real," and it hadn't been confirmed. But I haven't looked since to see like, is that actually something they're setting up?
No,
Well,
it's not confirmed yet. Like it's still rumors right now.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
it makes sense. They planted the seed.
They did.
Where the backlash, R-Truth protected John Cena from getting the punt, and then at the press conference at the end,
To thank him, he put him through a table.
yeah, and it's funny because like R-Truth pretty much said, "Hey, I still, think you're cool, even though people say you can't wrestle." And then he gets up really slowly and says, "Ron, don't speak, or words will have consequences." And then he goes again, and then he gets put through a table. I'm like, they just don't do that for if they're not going to have some type of altercation.
Yeah, so it's probably going to happen for that event there, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, played some Ocarina of Time again. I'm doing the desert shit. I'm doing getting ready to go find the last temple and do it, and then I guess go finish the game after that. Other than that,
So you already did the Shadow Temple, and you're doing the Spirit Temple now.
Yeah.
Okay, it's weird. So an interesting thing that happens in this game is a lot of people will have variation on which one they do next after Water Temple. Like Forest, Fire, Water kind of just have to happen that way. Like technically you can do them out of order, but most people do them in that order. But you can technically do Spirit or Shadow in whatever order you want, depending on what you discover first. But you're doing it in the technical correct order.
The order
I was curious.
To go in, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was just curious if he'd already done the other, but anyway.
I did.
Yeah.
Shadow Temple was interesting.
I hate it. Sorry.
Do you just hate it because of all the fuckery that goes on in it? Like, there's
mostly. It's a combination of fuckery plus creepy vibes. I don't need that in my Zelda. I hated the Shadow Temple.
I liked it actually. I guess it scratches
fine.
that part of my brain that likes that shit in like horror games. It kind of like did that for me a little bit.
The boss is super cool in that one.
The boss was like annoying as hell until I figured out how to fight it.
Ongo? Oh, what is it? Ongo Bongo or whatever?
Bongo.
Bongo Bongo.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? We're cutting into more of our cheese of what we'll talk about when we do a video in enormous detail about Ocarina of Time, which you guys can catch later. We'll announce when it's coming out. I don't want to go into more of that because I could open up a can of worms if I say what I was going to say. So
the only other thing I'll say is, getting the big Goron sword was not that big a deal, actually.
I told you. It's not hard.
This is when you write all that shit down, it looks like a lot.
Yeah.
That's it. That's everything I did, basically.
Whoa. Who wants... What?
I forgot. I watched Thunderbolts in the theaters. I went and saw that.
You mean the new Avengers?
It's like what people most want to hear.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, it almost slipped my mind. Sorry.
God, so
well, it must not have been very good.
No, it was pretty good, actually.
You mean the new Avengers?
Yeah, the new event. I don't know why.
Yeah, they do that asterisk thing. That's weird.
I think it was like they might have been a little worried that like people aren't going to want to see this because it doesn't have Avengers on it. Even though at the end of the movie, they basically something happens where it's like, you guys are the new Avengers. Like you could have seen that probably a mile away, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of strange that they did that, in my opinion. But otherwise, it's pretty good, though. It's just enjoyable. It's pretty funny, for once. I don't know if you're still like really like I gotta hate this cape shit. If you're still on like that thing, it's not gonna change your mind. If you gotta hate something,
I gotta hate the cape shit.
Yeah, but you've taken enough of a breakout. I don't know. It's pretty fun.
Seems like the kind of thing I'd watch streaming one day.
Yeah, I think it's worth watching. If you don't want to go to the theater, you think you want to try it out on stream, that's a good option, I think.
I'm waiting for Fantastic Four.
See, I've got to have a good reason to go to the theater nowadays because I have to organize a fucking babysitter and all this other nonsense in order to go.
No, it's not good enough reason for you to go fucking movies. I'll go.
That's what I figured is I would wait and just watch it at home when it eventually comes out. I can wait. I'm a patient boy.
But yeah, that was it. That's all.
Well, I'm gonna go next because of reasons.
Okay.
I watched a little more Star Trek Voyager, but a lot less than usual because for like 2 months I've been neglecting movies, so I kind of did a went down a big movie thing this last week. I watched Burden of Dreams, which is a documentary about the making of Fitzcarraldo and how Werner Herzog was basically a tyrant, sort of, but not, I don't know. People like to be like, "Oh, he basically was Fitzcarraldo. He made them drag that boat over the hill," and he did. But I don't know. It's different. But honestly, it's one of the best documentaries. It's one of the most interesting documentaries I've ever seen. It's very interesting. If you've ever seen Fitzcarraldo, it's a must watch. But if you haven't, then maybe don't. I don't know. And then to stay on the Werner Herzog thing, I watched his version of Nosferatu. I had low expectations of that movie. That movie rocks. I liked it a lot, actually.
Why did you have low expectations of it?
I have no idea. Like, I think maybe someone had told me about it at some point, and it was when I was like poo-pooing something. I don't know, Dracula movies or horror movies, or I don't remember exactly. Like, I had in my mind this time last year that I thought I didn't like Werner Herzog. I thought he was overrated. And then over the course of the last year, I've watched Fitzcarraldo and Nosferatu and Heart of Glass and Encounters at the End of the World and Meeting Gorbachev and liked or loved all of them. So I'm like, God damn it, where did I get this idea that I don't like Werner Herzog? I guess I actually really like him. So here we are. But Nosferatu is cool. I still haven't seen the Robert Eggers version, so I can't say certainly, it's my favorite. It's my least favorite. But it definitely has my favorite ending of any Dracula movie. I fucking loved the ending. It was so, like, I didn't see it coming at all, and the way they play it is just so interesting. I loved it. But that's all I'll say about it. I'm glad you think so too, because I could see the end of that movie being pretty jarring for someone who's like a Dracula aficionado such as yourself.
I like that they did something different. Actually, I was like, that's kind of cool. I love that. Plus, the thing I like most about that movie is it has this really heavy vibe in it.
That's Herzog for sure.
I don't know how to really describe it other than it has like a ton of atmosphere.
Like one of my favorite scenes in any movie I've ever seen is in that movie. Is all those people have the plague and they know they're gonna die, so they're having that big ass party like in the city square, and Lucy's trying to like get through the crowd, but you can't hear it. It's just playing that like operatic choir music. Yeah. That is so like. I don't know. It's like unsettling, but it's stimulating. I don't know what it was. It was really interesting. That scene is really cool. Like at that point, I was like, "Oh, I love this movie." Because up until that point, I was like, "I'm enjoying this a lot." But at that point, I was like, "Holy shit, this movie's good."
The intro too is like really creepy, and it's just like it plays that music too, but it's just showing you like bodies, just rotted, mummified.
Yeah,
bodies.
No, the beginning is I forgot. It's like in a catacomb or something, like a mausoleum, and I'm pretty sure those are real bodies because that's totally his MO.
Yeah, they looked real to me anyway.
But anyway, it's great. If you've seen the Eggers version, if you've seen the original one, you should watch that one. It's good. If you like Dracula movies, if you like that stuff,
you should watch all three if you like them.
And now for something completely different, I watched Life of Brian. You guys have seen Life of Brian, right?
No.
Mm-mm.
Have you seen Monty Python's Holy Grail?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's the same people. It's the same thing, except it's about a guy who was born the same night as Jesus, and he lives in Jesus times.
Oh, that's funny. That sounds funny.
At some point, they think he's the Messiah, but he's not. He keeps telling him he's not the Messiah. They're like, "That's exactly what a Messiah would say." And then he says, "Fine, I am the Messiah." They're like, "We knew it. He's the Messiah."
All right.
I mean, it's a Monty Python movie. It's very, very funny. I recommend it. It's not as funny as Holy Grail. Holy Grail is still the best one. But yeah, Life of Brian's great. I had it on when I was like doing some home improvement stuff, and the idea was, this is something I can listen to from the next room while I'm working with what I'm doing. And basically, I just like came in the room where I was playing on my computer, came in the room and like stood in the middle of the room and watched it for like 2/3 of the time because I just couldn't bear to get away from all the funny bits. And then I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but I watched the Rush concert video R30. I watch it every once in a while. I really like that one.
It's cool.
Then I watched Antonio Gaudi. I don't know how to pronounce it. He's some Spanish guy. This movie's weird and it's very unrecommendable. It's just Antonio
okay.
Gaudi made a bunch of like really famous buildings in Spain in the late 1800s, and this Japanese director Teshigahara, he's the guy who made Woman in the Dunes. At least one of you knows what that is, maybe two of you, but he's the guy who made Woman in the Dunes, and I bought this movie just because he's the director, because I was like, I like this guy. I've seen that and Face of Another. Those movies are both great. I want to see more of his stuff. So I picked this up, and it's literally just a bunch of buildings with music playing over it. And then toward the end, there's a little bit of talking, and basically they just talk about the guy's life, and they talk about how they had to finish his masterpiece after he died, and then there's credits. And it's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. Like, the fact of the matter is, the buildings do look rad as hell. Like, they're really cool and everything. It's like, an hour and 20 minutes of that. And what's going on here, movie? And it's my fault. I knew a little bit that it was going to be like I thought it would be a documentary about the guy's life and like what he made. But no, it is just music over imagery. And it is like a visual poetry thing. It's appealing in a way, but it's really not for everyone. And I'm not even sure it's for me. I saw Teshigahara and I was like, yeah, I need that. It's on sale. Give it. Then I decided to watch some more outrageous stuff, but I kept it Japanese for a while. I watched Brother, which is a Takashi Miike movie, a Beat Takeshi movie. It's violent as fuck. That movie is mean. But it's the movie he made. He made a bunch of Japanese Yakuza movies, and then he made this one that takes place in L.A. It's got what's his name? Damn it, Omar Epps in it, and a few other like American actors. And it's about he's some Yakuza guy, and he has to leave the country, and he goes to L.A. and immediately gets wrapped up in like L.A. gang shit, and so he like brings the Yakuza way of life to that. And it's okay. I didn't love it. It's pretty good. A lot of the fight scenes are like outrageously cool and fun. Like the movie's fun to watch, but as a story, it's okay. Take it or leave it. Then I watched Bullet Ballet, which is directed by I can't remember how to say his name. Tsukamoto. He directed this little this little piece I think you've all seen called Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Oh
yeah, masterpiece.
So he's made several movies, obviously, but this one it's also black and white, and it's shot a lot like Tetsuo, but it has a very clear story. Like the story is followable, it's reasonable. You could watch it, and you won't be too confused. And you won't be too confused at any given point. But basically, this like salary man. No, he's not. Well, he's kind of a salary man. He like edits commercials for a living, I think, like commercials for Japanese television. His girlfriend kills herself in his apartment with a gun. And they're kind of like, how'd she get a gun? They're illegal in Japan. But he like gets this weird hang up about, I have to have a gun. I need a gun. And the first act of the movie, almost the first half of the movie, is him trying to buy a gun illegally in Japan. And he like gets fucked over because some guy like sells him not a real gun. And he tries to make one himself, like with machinery stuff. And he tries to like order pieces and put it together. And like all the while, he's like being menaced by this gang in the neighborhood. And the movie's kind of about them, specifically this chick that's in it. And she's got problems of her own, as you can imagine, from the guy who made goddamn Tetsuo the Iron Man. And I don't know, the movie's crazy. And eventually he gets a gun. And there's a scene where he has edited together like a guy firing a gun and a bunch of explosions. And he's just like playing with the gun in his apartment, but it is very sexual. It's like the most heavily fetishized gun I've ever seen in a movie. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying not to say too much, and I don't harbor any delusions that anyone's ever going to watch this movie, except maybe some of my absolute weirdest friends. But think about it. It's pretty short, and this movie is so fucking interesting. I loved it to death. Like, I liked this movie a whole lot, and it's very violent. Zach, I think you might like it. Maybe.
Sounds like I might.
I think you might like it. Chaz and Dubs, I think you would get something out of it. You'd enjoy it, but I don't know if you'd come away with it loving it like I have or not. But
Yeah,
I
mean,
really
you've
liked
referenced or rather recommended other things for me to watch, and I don't know.
Yeah, I would. I like I said, this is like a lighter recommend, more or less. But I fucking loved this movie. It was so good. And then finally, I watched one more movie. I watched Detour. It's a noir on the Criterion Channel. It's okay. I didn't like it that much. The beginning's cool and the ending's cool, but I don't know. The middle kind of meanders. It's based on a short story, and you can tell it's only an hour and 2 minutes long. So that's kind of why I chose it, because I could watch it like over breakfast and then a little bit more another time. There's a woman in it, and she's unsufferable. She sucks, but that's the point. Like, she's being a bitch the whole movie, and it's okay. There's better film noirs. Don't watch it. Watch Bullet Ballet. That movie fucking rips. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. Ches, you go.
Cool. I play a little bit of Pokemon. Nothing crazy. Just trying to get ready for this event that I'm gonna do at the end of the month. I also played and finished up the Lorcana event that I've been playing online for like the last month, where it's like an online event that I've been doing. I actually got to the finals and I lost. I got second place.
No.
Yeah, I suck. But there's that. They have at least made announcements about Lorcana, and it doesn't sound
Didn't
like
they
they're
announce
things.
Disney Afternoon cards?
Yeah,
Did I see that?
yeah. Goofy Movie's finally going to be there,
Right.
and Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck and all those others are going to be joining the next couple
Darkwing Duck,
sets.
that's it.
Let's get dangerous, baby.
Lorcana, here I come. Darkwing Duck.
That's actually how they announced it, which was great. That was the intro. It was all right. Is everyone ready? Lorcana, let's get dangerous, and everyone was like, "Woo!" But yeah, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm kind of just taking a break from that game. What sucks is that because of all the lull of competitive play and how they're rotating, like the next set just doesn't seem very appealing, and I have nothing to play for. Like I'm doing nothing this month. I'm doing nothing next month. I don't have a local around me, so I really don't see the reason in focusing on any of it. So I'm probably just going to take a back seat. I'll still get the product that I need, so I have the cards, but I'm going to do very little to nothing with it. But then that rotation happens. Hopefully I'll pick up and start playing it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, just taking a little bit of a break from that. Other games I played. I finally got back on the wagon there. For a while I wasn't playing any video games. But I cruised through Super Mario Brothers Advance 4, which is just the Game Boy Advance port for Super Mario Brothers 3.
The best one.
Yeah.
One of the most confusing titles ever.
Yeah, that's true, though.
Yeah, they did a thing. It was weird. So Super Mario Brothers Advance is Super Mario Brothers 2. Super Mario Brothers Advance 2 is Super Mario World. The third one is Super Mario World 2. And then for some reason they did number 4 as Super Mario 3. I have no fucking clue why they did it in that order, but that's what they did. So anyway, Super Mario Brothers 3 is very sentimental to me because it's one of the first games I can remember beating as a kid. And I have a lot of sentimentality for the game itself. Love it. It's one of my favorite Super Mario games. If not my favorite, I think we've talked about this before. I don't recall if it'd be a hard choice to pick between my favorites, but it's definitely my top 3. But anyway, enjoyed playing back through that again. It had been a long time since I'd done that. I started Metroid Fusion. I don't know why I got on a Game Boy Advance kick on my Switch. You know, just it's portable. My wife's not gonna give me a hard time.
Well, I thought maybe you were playing it on your analog pocket.
No, you know, that thing has just been shelved, unfortunately. I would like to play more on it, but I just don't own enough physical things. And it's just so easy to have the Switch and just play stuff. So I'm just kind of doing that. It's funny because I have the Golden Sun sequel, and I would love to play it. But as soon as you start the game, it's like, hey, do you have a saved copy of Golden Sun? And that then makes me want to play the original first so I can have the save copy to carry over the legacy save. So I need to get an original copy of Golden Sun and play it. Maybe I'll eventually do that. But I was playing Nine Souls, and I did play a little bit of it. But it's rare for me to say, oh, a game's too difficult and put it down. But that game is fucking hard without a controller. Like, playing it on the actual Switch controller, it's enough that I'm frustrated with it, and I just want to enjoy whatever I'm playing. So and I don't have time to sit up and play in my room. So if I do that, I'll come back to it. But in the meantime, I'm playing Metroid Fusion. I also have played a couple games of League of Legends. Nothing too much. I didn't really dive too much. The game's still fun, but it's funny. I actually played it. Was like, this isn't as fun as I remember. So that's kind of held me back from playing it more.
How far did you get ranked?
Yeah.
Nowhere. I didn't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, just played a couple of casual games, and that was that. So, as far as other things I watched, my wife and I finished the season 4 finale of Ghosts, which was good. Ended on a cliffhanger. So, but still pretty funny episode. Been churning through It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I keep forgetting to bring that up week to week. But
we talk about that show several times a year. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like middle of season 7 or something right now. I'm just, as I have time to like play around with cards or whatever, I'm just watching it. Oh, it's so good though. I recently went on a binge watch of, and I hate that I went back to Crunchyroll to do it, but I just couldn't resist. I saw some ad or some message about something big happening with the new Dragon Ball series.
Daima.
Yeah, they're at a pivotal moment in the Japanese sub.
So it's good? Do you like it?
Well, I binge watched the English dub because the only place that you can watch the English dub is Crunchyroll. You can't watch it anywhere else, which really sucks. But whatever.
They have the Japanese version on like Netflix or Hulu or something.
Oh, it's all the sub is everywhere. You can watch the sub pretty much anywhere. The dub is the one you have to go to Crunchyroll to watch, which sucks because it for me at least, I don't mind watching Japanese subs. Obviously, I don't care about that at all. However, when it comes to Dragon Ball, all the characters and the voice acting, when I think of it, I think of the English voice acting.
Yeah, because you grew up with it. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so when when they're gonna scream and transform and shit, that's why I want to hear it because that's what I remember hearing. So
you want to hear?
Yeah, you don't want to hear. You don't want to
hear. But yeah. Anyway, I watched it and I got up to the point that they're at, and I will admit the show's actually pretty cool. I like it. It's got a good vibe to it. It very much reminds me of the original Dragon Ball series.
I thought I would like it because of that, but I couldn't get into it. I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes and dropped it flat. I don't know.
Oh, really? So I was interested enough. And to be fair, I was at work. I had nothing going on because it was a lull between patients, which is how I hammered through like the first several episodes. And I will say, yeah, it started off a little slow. I didn't get into it. The story picks up pace a bit when because he doesn't do much fighting, right? Like almost nothing happens the first 4 episodes. It's all like just some vague story building stuff, but they get heavy into action after. It's really, really good once you get to like episode 7, 8 for what they start doing with fighting, because they start to unveil how fucking strong they are, even though they're children. It's really cool. They give Vegeta a nice dub, which I was very happy with. Anytime Vegeta doesn't get completely slighted is really nice, because I feel like he always gets it. But in this one, he gets one that's really cool. But then he gets upstaged by Goku later. So there it is. I don't want to spoil too much, because if you go back and watch it, it's there. But something important does happen in one of the episodes I watched. And I still don't know how I feel about it entirely, because it almost feels like they did it as just pure fan service to make it canonical. Because my understanding is this show is supposed to be canon, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm still confused about that.
Yeah, that sounds like Japanese bullshit. They do that all the time.
Well, that's like this. It was supposed to be made by Toriyama before he passed. The story's happening immediately after Dragon Ball Z ends, but before Super would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that happen, like there are so many things that happen and knowledge that they would gain that would make no sense in Super, because there are things that they do in Super that make no sense.
Maybe at the end there's like a memory wipe wish or some bullshit.
That is entirely possible from where they're leading to, but they do a fan service thing. They bring an important thing that happens in GT into canon. I don't want to say any more. I'll leave it as it is. But if you're interested, you should watch it. If you're not interested, I'd totally be able to spoil it for you. But
I
maybe
might
our
give it
viewers
another
wouldn't like
shot.
that.
I might give it another shot.
I was waiting until the dub was over when I was going to watch it.
I guess it's the other thing too is I don't know how long this is supposed to be. The way the story's kind of wrapping up, it does seem like they're just kind of wrapping it up with a bow within the context of what this story is. So maybe it's something really short, and then that's that. I don't know. Could have been a movie, but anyway, I've enjoyed it. Other things I watched. My kid's sick, and she wanted to watch Trolls, so we watched Trolls. Actually, I typed the wrong Trolls movie. We watched Trolls Band Together, which is the one where Justin Timberlake reunites with NSYNC.
Oh, I thought you were watching Troll and Troll 2 with her.
Oh no, not those troll movies. Not the horror movies. No, we're talking about the cute ones with the hair that
the
sing and
horror
dance.
movies.
Yeah, we did not watch Troll the horror movie. No. But yeah, those movies are fun though. They're lighthearted. The music's okay. They know when to make fun of themselves. So, and then finally, I watched a movie it's been sitting on my desk for months. Andy will appreciate this. It's also why I wore this shirt. I was like, this is Andy Appreciation Day.
Wow.
I wore a shirt he gifted me, and I watched a movie he gifted me. I watched Akiru.
Oh my god.
I watched Akiru. I watched
hated it.
No, I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah.
How much emotional diarrhea was there?
You know, it's funny. I think I spent it all during.
You got purged. You binged and purged already. You couldn't do it anymore.
I'd spent all my emotional diarrhea on A Time to Kill, so it was really hard to follow that up. It's actually why I thought, you know what, fuck it. I was between watching that or The Road, and I thought, well, you know what? I know The Road's going to make me cry. That's one of those movies I need to have a cold shower after. I'll eventually watch it. But I decided I'll watch Akiru instead. And, you know, it's not quite what I expected. It was still really sad, and there were a few moments where I got the really manly, I held up single tear. Mm-hmm. But I actually found the movie to be really inspiring.
Yeah, you got the right thing out of it, I think.
Yeah, I didn't like. I again, right in the midpoint, it felt terribly depressing and sad. But at the end, like I love the twist they took because I was wondering where it was going with the story. It seemed like there was going to be some pivotal change, and then a certain thing happens in the movie. Not to spoil it, and then now all these other people are gathering around to talk and kind of figure out what happened, which I thought was a neat thing anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was a really inspiring movie. It's like, oh, this is great. Also, any movie that's just, you know, taking the fist directly to the ass of bureaucracy to be like, this sucks. I love that. So
that is pretty cool too. Yeah.
Yep. So it was a great movie. Thank you. It was a good recommendation. I mean, I don't imagine the other Kurosawa movies that you've recommended are like that one. I mean, I imagine the other ones are much more action based, but
sort of. He has some stuff that's more tame, like that sort of.
Well, yeah, but you've also recommended. Like, I need to watch High and Low. I need to watch.
Yeah.
I got lots of stuff I still need to catch up on that end, but I thoroughly enjoyed Akira. So thank you for that.
My last.
Yep.
Your last.
Take us home.
Finish her off.
All right. So before I get into like the big thing that I watch, I guess all the usual suspects that usually go superhero movies bad and Star Wars bad actually had a good thing to talk about Andor season 2. Apparently Andor season 2 is fucking phenomenal. And it actually brings back the old school Star Wars, kind of like how Mandalorian did in season 1 when it happened. The concept is cool. Like, they're on this planet because they're fucking harvesting like resources for the Death Star, and I'm just like, that's a fucking interesting concept. So I'm like thinking about watching that, and then to go on the Star Wars stuff, I forgot what game journalist stupid website, I think it might have been IGN, where they ranked all the Star Wars movies. So I'm like, oh boy. I was like, I'm gonna see The Last Jedi at number 1, right? Last Jedi was at the last at number.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty common.
No, not with the game journalists. I think it's the fucking bees to knees.
Yeah, most of them love that movie. Actually,
yeah.
Huh.
It's weird.
They sucked the fucking nipple out of that alien that Luke Skywalker sucked.
The blue milk. I love blue milk.
The green milk.
Or green,
Green
milk.
blue.
It was aqua. Yeah.
Blue Milk was in episode 4 in New Hope.
Mm-hmm. And I tried out F1 2024, the game.
Mhm.
It's interesting. It's too simulated for me.
That's what I've always heard. I've heard that there's a steep learning curve.
And I feel like I need the steering wheel to make it complete, essentially.
That's what I always thought. Like, I wish I could get a steering wheel because I have a headset and it is compatible with that. And like with a steering wheel, man, I'm Max Verstappen. I'm him, man.
I want to hear Max box. But
I'm gonna hit a bunch of stuff.
Smooth operator.
Carlos.
So the big thing that I watched, because I was bored, and that's the only thing I played, by the way, was the F1 thing, because I was like, did you know Antonelli has a fucking show on Netflix?
Yeah, I keep getting ads for it. I guess you have to pay to watch it. It's only 40 minutes long, and it's not stellar. That's what I read on Reddit.
Okay. And
I thought that was just part of Drive to Survive. Like they put
no,
that
it's a standalone thing that they like. I can't remember who produced it, but it's just a documentary about replacing Lewis with Kimmy and like how impossible it was. And it's kind of them gloating a little bit about what a good job they did, like setting him up to succeed. Because it's a little unprecedented, the support they gave Antonelli over. I mean, if you look at every other rookie on the grid, they're all kind of struggling still.
Mm-hmm. And I just found out too via Netflix, because the actual show that I watch is something different. But I was like browsing. NASCAR has their own version of Drive to Survive.
I thought about watching it. I haven't done it though.
I thought about watching it too, but like I don't know. Modern NASCAR is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Drive to, what is it called? Tight turn to the left.
Lol.
Well, no. I forgot.
So funny.
I forgot what it was called.
Well, I've never heard that one before.
I know, right?
It's like a fucking 40-year-old joke.
You know what I always think of? Anytime someone brings up dumb shit like that, I just think of that South Park episode whenever Cartman's like, I'm going to be a NASCAR driver, and Vagisil's a sponsor, and he's like, Danny Patrick, I'm stupider than you. I know that's why I always think
but the main thing I watched was this mini series called Adolescence, because it always like popped up and people have been like bragging about it. And I was like, why is this like, because the only thing you see is this little kid in like an interrogation room that he may have caused a murder or whatever. So I go into it and it's like, it's all British, by the way. They're in Britain and they have all those like weird words like trousers. Oh, we're going to open up the prezzies. And I'm like, fuck you. Say presents, you fucking redcoat fucks.
How dare you have your own culture?
Yeah.
your own language.
Your own inferior culture that lost.
Yeah. Fuck England. No, I'm kidding.
We're joking.
Mostly. Not really, but yeah.
Mostly.
But like the first episode, like literally like the first like fucking minute, the cops are coming in and arresting the kid and stuff. And it's like every shot is one take. There's no like when it transitioned to a different setting, they do it in a way that it makes it look like a one take. But it kind of like made me want to keep on watching the show. And it does this trick where you're just like, all right, kid's arrested. Did he really do it? Because they like in the script, they kind of like put doubt to it, where the kid's like, it wasn't me. And then they like show a fucking video of him doing it. And he's like, it still isn't me. And I'm like, oh, are they going to go like, this is AI or whatever? Like, what's happening? Is this some sci-fi bullshit? But then like, it's either episode 2 or episode 3. He's being like interviewed by a psychologist and he's like acting all like bipolar. Like one minute he's like joking around with this lady, and the next moment he's like calling her like a fucking cunt, a bitch, and he's like, he has that very Andrew Tate type of knowledge about like, you know, alpha male and all that stuff. And she keeps on asking him questions. He's like, "Are you gay? Do you Did your daddy beat you?
I don't know why you.
That was a spot-on impersonation, by the way. I love that.
But you like, and then he gets all mad and stuff. He's like, he like yells and stuff, and like the because he's in like a hospital because they think he's crazy, which he is. And like the guard comes in, he's like, and the woman goes like this. She like waves her hand goodbye, or like don't like come in. Everything's fine. And he's like, "Look at you, you fucking queen." And I'm like, what is happening in this movie? And then, like, I think I'm gonna spoil it because it literally, I think it was kind of a waste of time. Like, I appreciate the one takes and some of the writing. It did feel raw to me of what was happening. Like the last episode, like this whole show was about the actual family of the kid. Because all their neighbors of people in town are just being like, "Your son's a fucking asshole. You raised a fucking monster and shit."
This sounds kind of like we need to talk about Kevin. You ever seen that movie?
No.
No, I've heard of that movie, but I haven't seen it.
The premise is similar.
Mm-hmm. But it just ends like it's the father's birthday, and at the end of it, like he cries and he's like, "Oh," like in the middle of that episode, like the son calls, he's like, "Happy birthday, Dad," and then he's like, "I'm going to change my plea to guilty," and you're just like, "What? What's going on here?" Because I thought there was gonna be like a court case. They were gonna be like, he really didn't kill the girl. Actually, he did beat her, so she was in the ground. But like someone came to a fucking knife and just stabbed the bitch 7 times. Like I thought it was gonna have like that type of like court case and stuff, and then it was like, no, I'm changing my plea to guilty because I actually did kill the bitch. And happy birthday, Dad. And like the dad cries, and they all hug each other, and that's the end of the movie or the Lemon series.
Dubs, the series sounds like it sucks.
Yep. I looked up
It
the
does.
movie. We don't talk about Kevin. It also sounds like it sucks. So
Mutual.
I don't like it. A lot of people say it's such a great movie. I watched it once and I was like, I fucking hate that I watched this movie.
I was reading about it, and at least for what I do, long time coming, we haven't had any doc talk in a bit. But anytime someone comes in and a kid or anything is described remotely like that, I'm like, cool, that's a red flag. We're gonna get you in therapy. Like I don't like dealing with shit like that because it's like, oh great, I don't want to be the person that missed the next Columbine shooter, you know. Yeah, don't like that at all. And it happens more often than you think. I can tell you how many times I have people come in and either they were the victim of someone who threatened to kill them or the kid threatened to kill somebody. And yeah,
So you have them euthanize the kid? That's probably the right call.
I mean, I'd like to, but I just tell them to keep feeding the cookies.
The death penalty is actually good for that. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I just tell them to keep feeding your kids the Blue Fire Takis, Blue Fuego. That'll keep them, it'll keep them in enough pain and sedated, and they'll be docile. They won't be able to hurt anyone.
On that note, that's all I've done.
Jace, what a bummer! Oh,
Thanks
you're not
for
going last anymore, Dubs. You're stripped of your going last status. I'm afraid.
No, thank you for saving a fuck ton of time for me never watching that show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
what we're here for.
I don't understand. Like the only thing I will say is like it's shot really well, but it's like too artsy fartsy at times, and it's also too like boring at times because you'll be like staring at them in the interrogation room, and they'll stay there for about like a minute, just like staring.
Whoa!
So that's too long.
All right, but anyway, hey, here's an amusing anecdote. A friend of mine, a very close friend, in fact, this very week asked me, "Hey, where can I find your podcast anyway?" And I said, "Motherfucker, everywhere."
That's the official answer now.
That's the official answer. What
motherfucker, everywhere.
iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, every podcast carrier. You know, all the. Oh my god!
All the circles that are red.
I'm pretty sure my nose bled. I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" I set him straight. I'm going to set all of you straight now. You better subscribe and like and comment and make sure that you tell us what we're doing wrong because we're going to ignore it. We're going to ignore the fuck out of it. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we're not going to listen to it. We don't take criticism at all. Not even we just don't take it.
But here's something you can feel happy to ignore. Make sure you go watch the 4-hour cut of Heaven's Gate, and then come back here next week. We're going to discuss it. We're going to start Too Big to Fail month. Thank you for listening.